Hello, my name is Dmitry, and today I'm going to tell you about Feather, a Swift refactoring tool that I'm building. So we will look at the current solutions for code editing in Swift, and then I will tell you a little bit about this tool that I'm doing, and if you will have any questions, we will have a Q&A session. So let's start. If we look at the tools that are available for a developer, for me, for example, as a iOS engineer on a day-to-day basis, I'm using Xcode as my primary tool. Occasionally, I used AppCode in the past when I was working with Objective-C, but now mostly all of the development happens in Swift. So I moved back to Xcode and happily coding with it. So my favorite features in Xcode are the following. So one of them is a quick lookup when you just open the file quickly, fuzzy autocomplete, and rename in scope. And when it comes to refactoring in Swift, all we have is this thing telling us the refactoring is unfortunately only available in Objective-C and C. And I hope this will be available at some point in the future, and maybe some other apps will also support refactoring for Swift. So not only this, but also in bigger projects that for example, I'm working at, not only we don't have refactoring here, but usually during the day I find it hard to navigate through the code base. What I'm getting when I'm doing command click on some symbol or method or something, I'm just getting the question mark, and I'm not able to navigate properly within the code base. So this is something that is annoying, and what I want to solve as well. Another tool that we have is AppCode, which is a commercial tool provided by JetBrains, and their response for Swift coming into the development area with refactoring tools that they had really good support is this small little menu with refactoring of only variables. So you can only extract variable, and basically that's the whole support for Swift. There's another tool that is available for us to use, which was released, I think, 2 months ago, and it's called Swift Refactorator, I think. So what it does is it allows you to rename any symbol in your code base. So not only you can rename within one file, but just across many files in your project. So these are the only options that I'm facing during my day-to-day development, and I thought maybe I can do better, and I started to build a Feather tool that I called for refactoring. So this is a user interface that not really visible here, unfortunately. So I want to make a really simple and easy to use user interface, which highly based on the Xcode user interface layout with code editing area and project navigation area. And that there's going to be a field for search and quick open functionality at the center of the toolbar, and on the right you will have all the actions that are necessary for doing refactoring, such as renaming, extracting, moving stuff, deleting, and all that. So again, the features that I'm going to put there is, of course, code navigation, find usages, rename, extract, inline, move, delete. So everything that's missing for refactoring. I'm going to put this on sale in the future, and it's going to be available for $19.90 per month, and available in June 2017, yes, this year. And the pre-sales are going to start end of January 2017. So if you're interested, if you want to have more information, contact me on Twitter or drop me a line in email. I will answer you. So thank you very much.
refactoring is then more than just find replace of the functionality, but really like it checks for the whole AST and checks if it's the real variable. So it's really a syntax checking thing, and it uses the compiler or something for in the backend replacing and stuff. So how does it work there?
Yes, exactly. Under the hood, the refactoring is not just find and replace kite in one place and put it in the another. As you said, it is actually work with the semantics of the code. So the tool has to. Well, refactoring is a tool that can be categorized as a code. I would say code translator tool, or it depends on the task, of course. So what it has to do under the hood is to read the source code, parse it, tokenize it, understand the structure. Meaning recognize all the expressions, all the statements, whether it's going to be a function declaration or a class declaration, and not only just to recognize this thing, but also build, as you said, abstract syntax tree, and also enhance this tree with types, so that you can find references in your code. So if you're declaring a variable that needs to be which type needs to be inferenced from, let's say, from an assignment, then you need to perform this type checking and type assignment to get the variable usages of this concrete variable across all the files in your project.
Yes. Sorry, another one. And the deletion is probably, you will edit like the Xcode project files there, or is it possible that it then edits like the project file, if you load in a project from Xcode and you say delete this file with this class, does it also change the Xcode project file? So you can
yes, it will support the project file structure that is used by Xcode, and when you want to delete a type or let's say class struct or protocol, then it's going to look for usages in all your files where it's declared, maybe if it's a class, maybe in the storyboard files. But there might be ambiguity there because not always, from a program standpoint, you can understand that this is actually class usage or not. So, for example, Xcode, how it did in Objective-C refactoring is that if you want to delete something, it gives you the list of files that are going to be affected with the changes, and you can go and say line for line, I want this change, I don't want this change, I want this change, and so on and so forth. Yes, please.
So you chose a subscription-based model for your tool. Can you maybe elaborate on that? Because it's unusual for a development tool, I would say.
Description?
The subscription.
Subscription-based. Well, this is something that I want to see how it works, whether it's going to work or not. So this is just the first step for me to see if it's going to work or not. So my rationale behind having the subscription, is that working on a software project is more than let's say sell it once and then you forget about it. Working on a software project is a recurring task. You have to support it, and in the long run, you have to be sustainable. Yes, please.
Was more or less the same question. How did you come up with the price range? AppCode uses a subscription model too. I have no idea. I forgot what they're charging now.
They have the same price. I'm not sure if you're saying like it's too high or it's too low.
Just wondering. The usual problem for me would be if I'm doing such a tool and having some rationale for me myself actually saying, okay, that would probably be a reasonable price. So, you can do a market evaluation. You can do looking what the competitors doing. So I wondered what you did actually for that.
Okay. What I looked for is I looked for competitor apps. AppCode, they have actually the same price. But they offer more, of course. They offer the full featured IDE with build and debugging and all this support. But I just wanted to start with some concrete number price and see how it's going to work. So
I have another question regarding that issue. Is there, of course, going to be a CocoaHeads discount?
In the past, Swift was a moving target. I don't know if this will change in the future, but if it's still, if there are still changes in the syntax, you have to rebuild everything. How do you do it? Do you use some open source parsers or compilers for doing that?
So right, the Swift is, well, currently and before it was, I think this is one of the reasons, in my opinion, that other tools, they were not going with developing refactoring, because when your syntax is changing, basically you need to rework and support new syntax and old syntax. The approach that I'm going to use is, I'm going to build this in Swift, and I started to build this in Swift. I looked for open parsers. I looked at the Swift itself, and it's a big, huge project in C++, and it mostly tailored to compilation, and not more to code editing and refactoring things. So I decided to start on my own. Although there is, for example, parser generator tool called ANTLR, and there is a grammar for Swift, and I checked it out and looked, and the developer who wrote it, he commented this. I wrote it all at once, and I have never tried to actually make it work. So I thought that's a good place to start on my own and learn how to do this and develop this. Yes.
Yeah, can you elaborate first how long around you needed to build that, and how did you organize your work around that tool? Because as I understood 2 days ago, at the Swift meetup, you I think you made a presentation for
Right.
Yes. Probably a side project. So yes, how did you organize your work?
Exactly. So this is a side project that I started before New Year, so in December, mid of December, and I started to work on Swift tokenizer and Swift parser. As I said, I have this parser for simple expressions already, and planning to make it to release it in the mid of this summer, in June 2017.
You're doing your own parsing. You don't use the AST stuff that LLVM gives you.
Using
Okay. Okay.
I'm creating my own AST. All right. Yeah.
Can I have a last question? Do you see any reason why Apple didn't make this possible for Swift to refactor, rename stuff?
As far as I know, they haven't implemented these features because of too many things on their to-do list. And I saw a comment saying we have it in our to-do somewhere, so expect it maybe in the future. So maybe this app will be Sherlock by Apple at some point.
Definitely, I guess.
Definitely.
I want to give it a try while it's still.
Let's call Boris. With so einem Bullet ist noch Sherlock.
Thank you.
That's how.